Deep in a forgotten forest rests an odd keystone, cracked and weathered by time. Legends speak of Spiritomb, a monster born from 108 vengeful spirits, bound to the stone for eternity. Some claim that it waits dormant, waiting to be activated, but it's all just a story, for a creature like that is surely not meant for our reality.
Almost 3 years ago, I made a Spiritomb using a hologram fan and a 3D printed odd keystone base. Soon after, I improved upon the design by using more accurate proportions. And for this Halloween season, I'm gonna make the most accurate Spiritomb yet. It's gonna look, feel, sound, and be as powerful as a real Spiritomb. Hopefully. So this journey starts with planning on how to make this life-size. And according to the Pokédex, Spiritombs are about 1 meter tall. And by using Pokemon Go, I'm starting to get a feeling of how big this thing is actually gonna be. I mean, just the odd keystone alone is just about as big as one of my 3D printers. And now looking at my old design, there's a lot of things that I need to change, especially with how jaggedy and polygonal the old design was. So if I'm gonna wanna make this thing smoother, I'm gonna have to redo everything from scratch, which means it's finally time for me to hunker down and actually learn CAD. Wait, hold on, wait, no, I'm serious this time! That's right, no finding and modifying existing files, no Tinkercad mesh mixer and blender combination. This time I'm finally stepping up my game. And so a full day of starting to figure things out turned into my sanity slowly draining. Why can't I move anything? Which turned into whatever this footage was. Awooga. And eventually I stumbled into making this final design, and yeah, it's just the shape of a wine glass having a bad day, but we all gotta start from somewhere.
Now I get to print everything out.
And this was the other part of the project I was worried about, because I knew I couldn't fit all this in one piece. So I divided the model into a bunch of pieces using Bambu Lab software, and I managed to squeeze everything into 4 full plates of printing. And that all adds up to about 60 hours of printing, which is honestly pretty fast for how much plastic is being extruded. But I thankfully also received some much appreciated support from Bambu Labs, who sent me a brand new A1 and AMS combo to help me finish this task as quickly as possible. And to be clear, I already bought an A1 and AMS combo earlier this year, but
you know what they say, the more the merrier.
honestly, a few years ago, I wouldn't have even thought a project like this was possible just because of how long it takes to print out large objects and how frustrating and expensive it is if it fails like 90% of the way there. But having worked with Bambu Lab printers for the past year, they've been the most reliable printers I owned. And I did the calculations. If I printed this with my old printer that sits on the shelf of shame, it would have taken me 128 hours, plus time lost due to failed prints. So yeah, if I wasn't able to just send these prints off and forget about them, this project probably wouldn't have happened. And finally, I had everything printed out. Or so I thought. You see, this is where I was tricked by a little optical illusion, where the eyes looked pretty normal when you looked face on, but then, yeah. So after fixing that, 2 more prints, that looks much better. Also, pro tip, when using snap fits to put your pieces together, make sure you scale your tolerances, or this could be you. But finally, after getting everything smacked together, we have to make a little trip since my new place doesn't really have a yard for me to do post-processing. So I snuck onto my friend Harry's property while he was at work.
I'm Harry.
And there, I made a mess with wood filler, sprayed the whole thing from top to bottom, sanded everything down, and repeated the process again and again. And the neighbor dog was not having any of it. Perfect. Now the plan is to light up the face with this thick LED strip.
And so it can actually sound like a Spiritomb, I'm adding this hidden Bluetooth speaker with the rest of the cords, and with the press of a button, I can now freak out every trick-or-treater this year. And after completing a quick light test, all we need is the hologram. For that, I'm going to be using the fan from my Zonai Shield video. And yes, it did break at the very end, but out of sheer luck, I was able to source some replacement blades, so we should be back in business. I also spent an evening messing around with the old animation, and I think the results speak for themselves. All there is left to do now is attach the fan and hope for the best, preferably from a good distance away. Okay, so far so good, nothing's broken. Now let me fix those camera settings. And yeah, in person, this is as equally cool as it is terrifying. I mean, just listen to it. And as cool as this is to look at indoors, I wanted to put my claims of this being the most realistic Spiritomb to the test. Like, how would this thing stack up if it was actually in the wild? So Spiritomb and I took another road trip to get some expert analysis from who other than TierZoo, the man who has spent years analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of real-world animals. Also, he liked the original project back in the day, so I had to capture his first reaction. Whoa.
Okay, that's pretty sweet, dude.
But when he found out we were going to test its abilities by throwing things at it,
Matt, if this thing slices me, dude.
It's not going to.
Level 1, test of its abilities, a little ho-ho.
Okay. Wait, it's gone. Home run, dude.
It went all the way over there. Wow.
Tomato, all right.
This is kind of a make it or break it moment for Spiritomb. We'll see.
Okay, level 2 was too much.
And that was it. Weeks of work destroyed by a single tomato. Nah, I'm just kidding. The cord just got unplugged.
We're good.
Which means there's one final thing to test.
I'm so glad I did that first try. That would have been really embarrassing.
It would have. Oh, those are just gone.
Just bounced. I couldn't tell if it got sliced or not. It sounded like multiple pitter-patter over there.
There's three different slices somehow. I don't know. It got a double cut it.
Okay.
Doesn't even need parental bond for that one. That's crazy. After seeing the destructive and sometimes self-destructive power of Spiritomb here, how do you think it would do out in the wild?
Well, it's clearly very dangerous from the front. There's really no window of opportunity to attack it from the front. Constant hitbox. So for anything that's trying to fight it one-on-one, it's gonna have a tough time. When faced with attacks from multiple directions, this thing is gonna struggle. It's not able to turn itself in any sort of speed, as far as I can tell. And so that's where a lot of predators, their typical tactics of encircling their prey and attacking from multiple angles at once would give this thing some trouble. But for really anything that is trying to fight this thing one-on-one, the damage this thing can put out is clearly pretty devastating. So I wouldn't want to mess with it, that's for sure. I did notice that when hit with some serious blunt force from the tomato, it did give out. So I think overall, it's weak to big tanky creatures and it's weak to team onslaughts. So I think I'm gonna give it a rank of C tier. You know, it's certainly powerful, but it's got some very exploitable weaknesses.
You're staying inside, buddy. It's scary out there.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair assessment. And maybe I flew a bit too close to the sun because I knew I was never gonna make my Spiritomb walk like this. Seriously, how does it do that? But I'm still proud of my Spiritomb, especially because I tried something new and made something I thought was pretty cool. And that's what I try to do on this channel, make cool things. And that's why I'm actually excited to talk about today's sponsor, Bambu Labs, and their A1 and AMS system. Now the A1 is something I've been using a lot recently because it takes out so much of the manual work that you used to have to do, like bed leveling, setting up a camera to watch prints, and it even does this magical vibration and resonance testing to be as quiet and as fast as possible. And the A1 becomes even more powerful when you add the AMS light system, because when an old roll is about finished, it will actually continue the print with another roll. And it also allows for multicolor printing, so you can make things like this Snorlax or whatever this thing is. It's the first 3D printer I'm actually comfortable recommending to newcomers and less technical people, not only because of all the features I just mentioned, but also because of the affordability. Right now, during Bambu Labs' Black Friday sale, running now until December 2nd. And honestly, I can't think of a better time to get into 3D printing than right now. So thanks again to Bambu Lab, and of course, as always,
Special thanks to the executive level patrons: Pow Pow, Harley Jean, Grandma Watson, Marco Carini, Sally and Dave, Zebramang, Connor Rhodes, Don Necco, Evan Timmerman, Jameson Zabalos, and Jimmers.